Unlock insights from mountains of raw object data isn't your legacy object storage, not just a vault accumulating rot and dark data. This is VSP1 Object, the modern data platform that closes the gaps between data warehouses and data lakes, so you can summon the right data to your fingertips in seconds, from any point in time, from anywhere, without moving data. The first on-prem storage to natively support SQL queries with S3 tables. This means you can turn the chaos of data buckets into organized, cataloged data, using tools you already know to get data insights fast. Get frictionless access with on-prem control. With easy data governance, you can stop the data lake from turning into a swamp. Simplify analytics. Just point your BI apps to the data, and you're ready to go. No complex setups, no costly third-party tools, just fast BI and AI workflows. VSP1 transforms object storage from a vault into a value engine, driving insights to revenue faster. See how VSP1 supercharges analytics.
Are costly, outdated big data platforms impeding your speed of innovation? Innovating with data is now easier than ever. Hitachi Virtual Storage, whether it's structured, unstructured, in the cloud, or on-premises. It seamlessly integrates resources, optimizing big data workflows and processing for a hybrid cloud environment. Remove complexity by integrating immense data volumes into unified data lakes, making data management simple and powerful. Optimize AI workloads with peak performance through AI inferencing, RAG models, and automated training. Supercharge your storage with embedded ETL, metadata capabilities, and lightning-fast queries, ensuring your data is always accessible, clean, and ready for analysis. Experience unbreakable resilience with a platform that withstands multiple disruptions, guaranteeing 100% availability and ensuring 24/7 business continuity. Support large-scale data analytics and AI ML workloads with true data services, enabling your organization to quickly derive actionable insights. Streamline operations and reduce manual effort, easily scale to accommodate growing data volumes, and maximize resource utilization. Be unfazed by explosive data growth with the power of Hitachi VSP1 Object. You're ready to lead in the AI era.
Good day to all of you. All right, so before we begin, I just want to make sure that everyone's with me today. So if you could just drop your favorite emoji down on the chat below, just so I know that the chat box is working as well. All right, so I see a lot of emojis already, a lot of hands, a lot of hearts. So I know that you're with me today. Hi, everyone. My name is Ella, and I am your host for today's session, Smart, Secure, Scalable, Unlock the Future of Data with VS Pen One Object Storage. We're excited to dive into how this new platform helps organize, consolidate unstructured data across applications and hybrid environments, strengthen security and scalability for growing data demands, and enable modern data lakehouse architectures for analytics and AI. So before we begin, just a quick reminder for all of you, there will be handouts that you will see pop out on your screen. Feel free to download them because you will be using them throughout this session. And later we will be having a live Q&A. So I know that your chat boxes are working. Feel free to send in your questions at any point of the webinar. And after that, do stay with us until the very end of the program because we will be having a raffle draw wherein 3 people will be receiving 50 USD worth of Grab voucher or Amazon voucher, and there will be 1 lucky winner to go home with an iPad Air. So, a very exciting day ahead of us here today. And now let's look at the agenda for today. Right now, we're having the welcoming remarks, and then later we will be having a fireside chat. Smart, secure, scalable, unlock the future of data with VSP1 Object Storage. And then we will be proceeding to the Q&A, and then we will be ending the program. So for now, I am very excited to introduce our speakers for today. We have Suraj Kotipali and Jeet Kaul, and let's give them a warm welcome. Suraj, over to you.
Thanks so much, Ella. And let's get Jeet also online. Yeah, excellent. I can see Jeet here. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, all the Asia Pacific delegates, our esteemed customers, our partners, everybody on this call. There's hundreds of people right now on the call. So I think we're going to be having a very exciting session today. Here with me is Jeet, my colleague, my good friend. He's a product leader for AI and data platforms in Asia Pacific. He is joining us from US, from Santa Clara. Jeet, what time is it for you now?
Oh, it's very early. It's 9:36
PM.
Yes, PM.
I hope. You look very sound and energetic. Yeah.
Yes.
And guys, I'm based out of Singapore right now. I'm actually sitting in Delhi. I manage the data platforms and solutions for Asia Pacific region. Today, we're going to be running like a duet session between me and Jeet. We're going to be talking about a few challenges. We talk about a few strategies around unstructured data, some solutions, use cases, and we'll try to keep it as exciting as possible, right? So we all know that unstructured data is growing at exponential rate. And as per recent IDC Global Datasphere report, the data is expected to reach 393 zettabytes by 2028. That's nearly 4 times growth when compared to 2023. So in 5 years, the data is growing 4 times, 393 zettabytes. That's huge. And we know that 80 to 90% of data is unstructured, right? So today the topic is more around unstructured data. So in this new AI era, there is more data growth, not just inside the data centers and in the cloud, but there's even more data growth at the edge, the users, and also the IoT data as well. Okay. This data actually basically the challenges that we go through for organizations is how do we really store, manage, and protect this data? There's a huge cost pressures. The biggest challenge is how do we ensure we have right visibility and data visibility and also the quality of the data. If you don't have that, it's going to really hamper your innovation, right? There are significant sustainability challenges with this data growth as well. How the protecting and managing the power that needs to really manage this data. And also, last but not least, the security challenges, right? You've got to protect this data from ransomware attacks. So our theme for today is how do we really have a good data visibility, quality, sustainability, security challenges, and how do we bring all the innovation with cost as a factor as well, right? So that's what we're going to spend time. So let me just quickly share my screen here. Just a minute, so I can bring up this slideware as well. And then I'm going to be posting the question to Jeet. Just a minute. Just let me know when you can see my screen. All right. All right, so Jeet, you are the leader for AI and unstructured data platforms in Hitachi Vantara. What are you hearing from the CIOs, from the organizations, Jeet, and some of the key challenges around the unstructured data?
Absolutely. So, the biggest challenge that the IT leaders have, can we go to the next slide, I think, and let me just kind of start talking about. So, look, we are all experiencing this amazing data-driven innovation. You take your Chat GPT, you take your Copilot, and you're like, oh my God, data can create so many amazing outcomes for us. But all of the IT leaders are facing tremendous amount of challenges actually accessing this data, right? And there are, 4 major problems, right? First of all, there is just unstoppable growth in this data, and it is actually outpacing traditional storage models. It's making it harder to store, to manage, to use this data. Now, this is happening across all industries. Everywhere this explosion is happening, and is driven, by analytics, by IoT, and of course, most importantly, by AI. And this data is being left unused in silos, unindexed. So it limits our ability to actually get insights from it. Now, We need a modern, scalable approach. And this is where object storage comes into play. Let me kind of talk about cost, right? There are rising storage costs right now across the board, and it's forcing trade-offs. Do you spend time just keeping up, retaining, replicating, securing your data? And there's fewer and fewer resources available to actually go ahead and innovate in AI ML, and where most of us actually want to be. Object storage actually provides a lower TCO, and that totally fits our today budget realities that exist. What's kind of surprising, Suraj, and I know you have heard it many times, is that many companies come back and say, hey, we cannot grow this much, we cannot add more capacity because we are power constrained. There is a pressure on power. People are talking about building nuclear plants next to data centers. There's that aspect of it. There's also countries where there are sustainability demands. You have to kind of go in, get more storage, and do it with less power. Right? So, but traditional storage, right, is not energy efficient. Object, on the other hand, by contrast, right, is very energy efficient in its architecture and tiering, and it provides cold storage, dense node stuff, provides tiering, provides all of that stuff. And then last is complexity. There's complexity. Data is all over the places. There is brittle pipelines, and modern object architecture collects all of these different data sources in one place and allows you to have simplified access, so you can go ahead and do these insights. So all of these things, whether you're scaling for growth, whether you're controlling costs, whether you have sustainability stuff, or you're trying to simplify complexity, the modern object architecture solves all these issues. So let's go ahead and explore where object can actually become in the foundation. So as Suraj said, right, in 2025, 80 to 90% of new data is unstructured, and the bulk of that is object storage, right? There are 5 workloads that object storage is used for. The biggest one is obviously AI analytics and data lakehouse. And object storage is a foundation for AI pipelines, whether you're storing your training data or your model artifacts, or you're building a lakehouse where all of your data resides. Object is foundation. And of course, we've been doing with object data protection, long-term retention, ransomware. Cyber threats are just ubiquitous everywhere, all the time. And organizations need to prioritize this immutable, air gap storage for backup and recovery, and that's where object shines. All microservices-based applications, leverage object storage, REST interfaces. That's how all the modern apps are. And you're talking about robots, you're talking about cars, you're talking about analyzing data. So video is a huge part of object storage. And then genomics and life sciences and scientific research, all of these have explosive growth in terms of data sets. All of these workloads are where organizations are spending money on object storage. Next.
Thanks. So I think let's do a quick poll question. Great feedbacks here. The data growth across the industries and across the workloads, and why an object storage makes sense. And we can actually go much deeper into the object solutions and the use cases. But before I do that, I just wanted to get a quick poll question here. So Shank, if you can just bring the poll question. I want to get the audience view about, yeah. So what is the biggest driver for adopting modern object storage in your organization? All right. Very, very mixed feedbacks here. Let's take another 10 seconds and then we'll... Very, very balanced views. Okay, so people talking about security. I see it should start supporting analytics and AI workloads. That's about, yeah. All right, okay. I think we got about 35-40% of the audience who responded here. Looks like, I think the biggest thing is how do we actually scale and meet this data growth, and also do support the analytics and AI workloads? How do we ensure the protection? I think it's I think most of them are pretty common drivers for object storage. Okay. Now, let me just talk about you heard about the VSP1 object in the introduction videos, right? Let me quickly introduce what is VSP1 object, and then we're going to be going deeper into some of the use cases and the capabilities, right? So VSP1 object, and you all know that Hitachi Vantara is in the object storage business for more than 20 years. We have a very, very long history in this space. The new VSP1 object solution that we launched is a third generation and a very modern S3 data platform that helps to unlock the value from your unstructured data. Okay. Now it is smart. The reason we call it is smart, and we're going to be spending some time talking about this in the later section. We have introduced something called the S3 tables feature. This actually really helps organizations to write queries directly into your object storage and analyze it and get the data value out of that unstructured data. You all know typical unstructured data has been used, or object storage has been used for archival and long-term retention and leave the data out there. And if you want to extract some value out of this unstructured data, it was very difficult. You have to use a lot of third-party tools. But then with the new S3 tables, you can directly write SQL query engines. It's like it works with SQL query engine, and you can write queries and get value out of it. And Jit is going to talk about this shortly as well. This is built on the new Kubernetes platform. It's a microservices software-defined architecture, providing a lot of smart management and observability features. And it's 100% S3 compatible. Okay, anything that works with Amazon S3, we support that, right? So you don't need any separate certifications, a separate qualification for that. Anything that's Amazon S3 compatible, we are compatible with that as well. And with the new architecture, we're able to bring a lot of intelligent data services as part of it. All in all, with the new S3 capabilities, the tables capability where you can modernize data lakes, the new platform, and the 100% S3 capabilities make it very, very smart object storage. This is just not any other object storage. We just gonna keep archival data or cold data out there. It's really for mission critical workloads. Then security is the integral part of our VSP1 object, right? Basically, anything that's stored in VSP1 object by default have warm, retention, immutability features, natively supports from any ransomware attacks. All the user data, edge data, IoT data can be natively protected, even without actually need to do any backups. And we're talking about petabytes and exabytes of data. How do we take backups of that? No, we don't need. So there's some technologies to how do we protect this data. We have introduced the new PII discovery and classification service. This will help you to discover and classify and report the sensitive user data and protect it and take actions on it. And we're going to talk about that in detail, right? That's a very, very cool feature that has come into the VSP1 object as an integrated service, the integrated PII discovery service. And the platform has been built for an enterprise class availability and durability. So we give you 15 nines of data durability guarantees, and we give you the architecture is designed for very, very high availability solution here, right? So because you're going to be running mission critical applications and workloads, that availability and durability of the data is very, very important. Last but not least, we spoke about significant data capacities here. This is not a typical block storage we're talking here. It's an unstructured data. We're talking about not just terabytes, we're talking about petabytes and exabytes of a scale. The architecture is designed to really support exabytes of scale and also trillions and trillions of objects, right? At the same time, the software architecture is designed to quickly grow, shrink, and simplify your S3 data services, automatically, right? You can just do auto tuning and managing, launch a new service, kill a new service, and optimize your new service all very, very easily with the platform. And also provides a lot of deployment choices because you want sometimes high performance storage, you want an NVMe kind of capabilities. Sometimes you're okay with a nearline SAS capacities. You can intermix these two for different workloads, run everything in a single cluster. That's the whole capabilities we're bringing as part of the scalable. So it's really very smart, secure, and scalable that helps you to drive value from your unstructured data. In a nutshell, that's what VSP1 object is, right? So, Jit, do you want to just talk about some of our core smart capabilities? Like we just launched this as a new Kubernetes platform. And I know we have some very exciting Rancher and Prometheus and Grafana capabilities that has been added. But just talk to us like a minute and why this new architecture is more beneficial than compared to the previous object storage solutions we launched.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Suraj. So, as you know, this is normal now in modern stuff, right? So we have built this generation of ESP1 object as a cloud native, software-defined microservices-based architecture, right? And it allows for independent scaling of the storage layer and from the compute layer. This allows organizations to do deployments where specific workloads can scale differently than another workloads. This automated deployment, automated upgrades. So microservices, foundationally allows us for faster deployments. It allows us to build new services and deploy them in some cases after the fact, right? So easier, better orchestration, easier, better updating of services, easier, better upgrades because of that. And this underlying architecture is multi-node, provides multi-node redundancy. It has erasure coding, as you can imagine, by default, and has also async replication. So provides significantly high availability and provides a much better disaster recovery scenario here. There's also a distributed metadata engine, which provides a strong consistency across. One of the things I want to kind of really quickly spend 30 seconds on is security is really, really, really important to us, right? And so we built our design architecture using Rancher's RKE2 distribution. That's because Rancher is the best distribution for security anywhere, right? It has the CIS benchmark, it has FIPS certification, it has DISA STIG validation, SC Linux. It is air gapped, it is the best one available, it's lightweight and better aligned. So in every aspects of what we had to do, security was at all levels, at OS level, at Kubernetes level, and obviously at our own level, we focused on that.
Awesome. Thanks. I mean, we are very excited about the platform and the innovation and the value it can really bring in. And it's a very, very modern, the microservices-based software-defined object storage, right? And the scale is huge. And we can talk about that in detail. Now, one key thing that we mentioned about is getting the value out of the unstructured data, right? Because a lot of data is there. Because today, a lot of customers have to use a lot of tools, write a lot of SQL queries, engines, and whatnot to really get value out of it. And we have seen that was a significant problem in the past. And Amazon has actually launched the S3 tables, and we are the first ones to launch in the market. So walk us through, Jeet, like what is this S3 tables feature is, how does it help to really modernize a data lake? And I know we are the first ones to launch this. How is it going to help the customers?
Absolutely, right. So let me kind of quickly cover, sure, let's talk about S3 tables directly. So look, Amazon announced early access to S3 tables in November of last year. In January, we are like, this is the right call, this is right, and we started the implementation exercise, and we, delivered this in the market sometime in July timeframe. We were first in the market, and my belief is among all the on-premises object storage, we are probably still the only one. As Suraj was talking about S3 compatibility, this is, cutting edge S3 compatibility. All the APIs for S3 tables that exist in AWS, we are supporting all of those things. Now, what is the point? So we have all heard about data lakes, data warehouses. What data lakehouse does is basically take the best of both worlds. It allows you to, as Suraj earlier said, allows you to do simple SQL queries on all of your data. You don't have to do special code. You don't have to do special things. You can take standard tools like Spark and Trino, and you can go ahead and actually use them and leverage them to go and manage your data. This, multiple things, right? So what happens with this, right? The foundation of Lakehouse that was implemented by Amazon was based on Apache Iceberg. Apache Iceberg is by far the fastest growing Lakehouse architecture right now in the market. It has a lot of penetration. That's why Amazon uses it. And we are also actually what we have built is based on Apache Iceberg underneath. And this allows you to have, as Suraj said, access using SQL with Trino and Presto and Spark directly. And the querying mechanism, right? So, if you are like a data science person and you want to quickly figure out what data is where, you don't have to go in and write some special Python code to figure out what data is where. You can just use traditional tools that you're using and get that queries and figure out what data you need to have without having to move data here or there. And all lakehouse exercises, right, provide foundationally a lot of value. It provides, asset transactions. It provides time travel. It provides partition evolution, schema evolution, all really, really good, what you would expect from a regular database. You get that out of the box with S3 table support.
Awesome. I think, and in a nutshell, I think it's really, I mean, if you really want to drive data innovation from the object storage or the unstructured data, you actually don't need to use a lot of third-party tools. It's actually the native support actually helps you to write queries and get the innovation faster. Now, of course, you can use, some other visualization layer to get better visibility as well. But the most critical one is not just playing with the metadata, but also ability to take an object, break it up, get into SQL like a tabular format, write queries, and get the value out of it much faster. So great. I think this is something is going to change the way that object storage has been dealt with so far in the industry. I think it's very, very exciting. Thanks to Amazon, they introduced this and we adopted it and quickly launched it. I think this is going to really make the data lake environments much, much more modern going forward.
Absolutely, right. I think it was probably Gartner who said that, in the next 2 or 3 years, there is going to be massive growth in lake houses. And we're creating the foundation now. You can start that process now.
Awesome. Just talk about, apart from this data lake houses, what are the other use cases we are addressing with the object storage, Jeet?
Yes. So I think, the use cases that, we talked about most foundationally, right, is data protection, right? So as you know, right now, there's huge, we talked about the fact that there is tremendous amount of cyber attacks that are happening, and the very nature of what object stores are provides, foundational stuff. So if you're doing, basically backup and recovery, there's nothing better than object storage with object locking, air gapping that protects you against these cyber attacks. We have authentication encryption to safeguard your data. As you already mentioned, we have this built-in PII service that allows you to make sure that any sensitive data, right, is not there waiting for exposure from somewhere. And the retention process, right, provides this data governance exercise, so you can have policies that you have created and you can uphold those policies. And then, we have PII in the beginning, but we foundationally have built this intelligent data management service that allows you to move data from one place to another based on some policy. In some cases, but okay, this is data that I don't need. I can move it out into another tier, so it's no longer at risk. And obviously, the big part of what we're doing, this consolidation in one place, allows us to also, manage and create a policy and structure across this data. So huge amount of exercise and effort in making sure we have protection against ransomware out of the box in VSP1 object.
All right. I think you just touched upon some exciting data lake use cases. You talk about data protection use cases. You spoke about the AI, ML analytics use cases, part of the object. Since you touched that security subject, I would like to a little bit go deeper into, we mentioned VSP1 object is a very secure platform. It got inbuilt protection, resiliency and stuff. So, and also the PI service. I want to go a little bit deeper on that in the next segment. But before that, let's bring in the second poll question. You want to bring up the poll question now, Shashank? All right. How do you currently manage unstructured data across applications, edge, and cloud? Good question. A hybrid mix of on-prem and cloud solutions, multiple storage platforms and solutions. Yeah. There is some audience responding. There's some centralized object storage for user and edge data. Okay. Very strange. Nobody has mentioned they have all user edge data in the cloud. So I was a bit surprised to see that. Looks like a lot of our enterprise customers are here. Because
Yes. It's a self-selecting audience.
All right, let's give us another 10 seconds and then keep posting it, guys. I mean, it's good to see what is your views here. All right. Fairly, I think it looks like a hybrid mix of on-prem and cloud solutions and also multiple storage platforms and solutions is what customers have. It's not like they really centralize everything into one, okay?
Yeah.
Let's move into the security topic. And Jit, is my PPT visible now?
Not yet.
Okay. Is it working?
No.
Okay. Do I need to share again?
Yes.
Apologies. Let me just bring it back again. Because I just exited because of the poll. Okay. All right. Just let me know when you can see that. Okay.
Okay. We have it.
All right. All right. So the VSPN object is secure, and we have designed the architecture and the solution to really meet all the compliance requirements. That's whether GDPR or HIPAA or 617, FIPS certified encryption, whatever. And we speak about these compliances later. But what does it make really secure, right? One very important part of the security is, first of all, it comes with data address encryption and also encryption in the transit. Okay. It comes with self-encrypted drives. It has external KMS support for the key management. By default, the solution comes with warm features, which is like write once, read many. You can apply legal holds. You can do audit logs. You can apply certain, object locking specifically for backups. So a lot of this it has versioning, okay, right? Especially when you're keeping the user and edge data, that you have to ensure some kind of versioning. So with the capabilities of legal hold, versioning, object lock, and also the self-encryption drives with data encryption, a lot of security is inbuilt into the platform itself. To add to that, on top of that, what we have now done is we are providing the integrated PI discovery service. This will help you to identify and discover the specific sensitive user data that you want to identify, right? You can actually, out of the box, you can actually go and say, I want to identify how many files have, let's say, a credit card number in that, or I have a driving license number in that one. So I would like to have some, or a specific, whatever user specific data, right? The personal identifiable information. So automatic discovery of the information, classify them, report it, and also ability to take action, right? For example, let's say I want to now, let's say, move all this data, which has certain particular sensitive data, move to a particular bucket, right? Or I want to particularly go and mask that particular data in the file. So I can do a lot of those activities or actions on the PI data. So together with the inbuilt security, the core capabilities around the regulatory requirements and the integrated PI discovery, and top of that, all the controls, like it has role-based access controls, access policies, the integration with Active Directory and LDAP, makes this platform very, very secure and help you to adhere to some of your compliance requirements, the GDPR, the HIPAA, and all of that. So that's what it is, and a lot of use cases we can talk about it around security. One key takeaway is it comes with built-in ransomware protection, which means you don't need to use separate backup technologies, especially when you're storing data, S3 data into the object. I'll walk through that scenarios later, but before that, the PII discovery, this was new. We have launched it as part of our new VSPN object. Would you like to quickly talk about that and what exactly is the value of that PI discovery?
Absolutely. So, one of the things we have experienced with customers, they had this major concern that they were not aware in case there's some sensitive data sitting around in petabytes of data that they have. And they had to create special tools, special code, integrate it in, and make it possible for them to actually analyze and figure out what kind of data they have and whether they are, in danger of, causing regulatory harm. So what we did was we basically created an architecture. The first thing that we are doing is basically PII discovery. It is possible. So customers like, hey, can I figure out what sensitive personal data exists in my storage, right? And VSP1 object out of the box can identify all different kinds of sensitive data. Currently we are focused on personal information, PII data, but we have the ability and flexibility to do other things moving forward. And can it be done continuously, right? Is this like a one time and go? No, we are continuously monitoring, going through all of the stuff that exists thing. We are using AI ML techniques to identify that data, auto discover, classify it, and then we will let you know, right? And how do you get visibility of this PI data? So we have, you can audit it, you can trace it, you can figure out which objects have the sensitive data. All of that comes again out of the box, right? So there you go. Do I need additional software? Do I need additional services? The answer is no. We felt that this security information is so fundamental that you should expect this out of the storage system, out of the box. It should not be an added value. This should come in. And today we are doing PII discovery. Tomorrow we will do other things. But we have just fundamentally built this foundation. So you can just say, hey, here are the requirements I have. You can turn policy on these requirements, and then we will go in and do this. And then you have, traceability and understanding of what your data and what's where.
Awesome. I think it's a great value that we have launched this one. And I think customers can start taking benefit of this one. This is one of the key challenges that many customers actually were talking to us and say, hey, the data intelligence was much more important than actually just storing and managing this data, right? And they really want to drive some value out of this, ensure the data is secure. I think this is one key feature. I'm sure our customers will love it. Now, coming to the other use cases around security, you all know that object storage is an S3 platform, right? Today, you see an explosion of data coming from a lot of edge sites and IoT devices. For example, you're talking about video streams coming from production lines, manufacturing. You're talking about autonomous vehicles. You can talk about medical and, a lot of sensitive data coming from sensors, coming from video streams. There's a lot of data coming from edge locations, from the users as well. I'll talk about the user data separately. But most of this data by default is static in nature. Most of this data is once generated, you got to store it and protect it. And you can have your own retention policies. Some data can be deleted in 30 days. Some data has to be retained for 1 year. And some data might probably have to be kept for lifetime, right? So like a good example is a patient data, which also like MRI reports and all of that. You can't just delete it. You have to keep, it's for their lifetime. So how do we ensure all this data, which is coming from this variety of edge IoT applications, which are natively S3? If it is natively S3, you don't need any other tool, no other interface. You can directly bring it to an object storage. That's what I was talking about, 100% S3 compatible. And if you don't have an S3, let's say it's an NFS SIF protocol, you can always use a gateway, right? And then bring it to object storage. Everything that comes to the object platform, it's by default warm and retention and legal hold capabilities. And the way they design the architecture for the durability is that you don't need to worry about whether this data need to be protected separately. Once it comes and sits in the box, you can scale up, scale out, and you can distribute it across DC, DR architectures. And that's it. And you can just leave it there. You don't need to separately use any other tool to protect it. That's one of the key values of a backupless architecture with VSP1. If you don't back up, there's no recovery as well, right? So there's nothing called a backup and recovery. It is always on, always available data, right? Once you have this data come here, fully protected, and you're able to do a lot of value out of it, you can also take some part of this data, move it to any cloud platforms, and then maybe for your specific projects, if you want running an analytics project and an AI project, you can even want to move to any kind of cloud. You can seamlessly move it to an S3 buckets to any of the hyperscalers as well. Okay, that's a great value, how the built-in security is built in and how you can innovate with the existing data. Now, that's typically data coming from these devices and IoT, which is static in nature. But what about user data? What if I have a lot of users where they have laptops and they have mobiles, and also a lot of users working in remote sites. They have a lot of filers. Now, the world has changed. You don't want to keep using the same NAS boxes everywhere. They work in an individual, in a namespace. You have to keep taking backup of those NAS systems. I mean, the new use case is just very simple. You just use a software-defined filers everywhere. You have a centralized object storage. You can seamlessly bring the data from your users and your edge sites into the object simply by mapping drives or by using a small client at the edge location. Everything that comes to object, it's natively protected. You always keep the hot data, the hot cache, I mean, the most commonly used or recently used data at the edge sites and the users, which means you're not keeping a lot of data at the edge locations, and you're natively protecting with an object. That's what we are using with the object and also with the tools, which we call as HCP Anywhere Enterprise. We are able to revolutionize how you actually manage your user and edge data without actually needing to do a separate backup and recovery operations. That itself is a huge cost benefit, and it meets your compliance requirements. If in the event of an attack, users have ability to go and automatically recover the data by themselves. You don't even need to call IT for that, okay? So these are some of the benefits of using the innovation of an object storage combined with our partner solutions and able to innovate further from a typical object storage, right? These are all evolving use cases. Jit, you did mention about this high performance backups for mission critical applications. Here we're talking about user edge data without actually needing to take a backup. We're talking about natively creating data lakes with IoT and edge devices. All of them are enabled because of the security capabilities within the VSP1 object, right? Now, let's move the topic slightly to the scalability. I think the one big question comes up from everyone is, what exactly is a scalability? We are talking about petabytes and exabytes, and how does this platform scale from actual storage capacities? How do you scale your services? What kind of choices have from a storage perspective, right? Let's spend some time on the scalability part. But before that, I would like to bring the third poll question. Shashank, you want to bring the third poll questions quickly? Okay, what is the biggest challenge with managing unstructured data today? Data security and compliance, absolutely. Rapid growth and scale. Yeah, I think these are the two predominant challenges with managing unstructured data. Yeah, I think we need to move because we want to give some time for the questions as well. So let's quickly talking about scale. Jit, I'll just introduce this and then I'll take it to you for any quick feedback there. First of all, the architecture is actually a limitless architecture, right? There's no limit the way that VSP1 object has been designed. You can actually scale up, scale out, and keep scaling out, okay? But obviously, we know that there will be always some physical limitations, right? There will be a rack limitation, there will be a power limitation, there will be drive limitations as well. So while we talk about limitless architecture, but there's also some limitations on the hardware infrastructure, but this is still designed for exabyte scale. Petabytes, easily done, right? You're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 petabytes. That can all be done in a single rack for us. We can support trillions of objects. We can scale out and we can also do scale up, right? Let me just quickly show you how we do that, right? The VSP1 object comes with two layers. One is the compute layer, which is where you're running the brain, right? You're actually running the VSP1 object, the worker nodes and the master nodes, the source. I mean, basically, the compute is running here, and all the intelligence, metadata, everything is stored here. And then you connect that compute nodes to the actual dense storage nodes. You can see here the S32 node here. So the compute nodes are running here with all the code, and then you are storing the data into the dense node. It starts with a 6U box with 42 drives, and we have a variety of choices there of drives that you can use. This is all nearline SAS, NL SAS-based storage. So 12 terabyte, 16 terabyte, 20, 24 terabytes, a lot of choices here. And it starts with the 6U. Now, and you can easily do up to 352 terabytes in that, right? How you scale up? You keep adding more trays. Okay, the controllers are already there, 2 controllers. Then you just keep adding more and more storage drives in this. So it can keep scaling up to 954 drives. Okay, you can imagine the capacity here, right? That's a single S32 scale up and providing up to 16 petabytes of data. That's a lot of data, right? So the one worker, well, like one object 044, which is our compute node, which is the 8 node running Kubernetes cluster here, connected to our storage, and we support 16 petabytes of storage in a single S32. What if you need more storage? Simple, just keep adding. So we just have a scale-out architecture. So you keep adding more storage, another 16 petabytes. I keep adding more 16 petabytes. I can up to do 40 of them in a single cluster. So we are talking about close to 640 petabytes with 40 S nodes in a single cluster. I mean, I repeat, it's a single cluster. If you want more, you can keep adding more clusters as well, right? That's why we talk about exabyte scale here. If you need, and then, I mean, Jeet mentioned about individual scaling, right? Either you want, I'm okay with my compute power, but I need more storage. So you keep scaling the storage. Or I need more power. I have more advanced applications running here, analytics, AI. I just need more compute power. So you just keep adding more compute, and then the storage might be just only 16 petabytes. So there's an ability of scaling up and scaling out just the compute or your storage nodes here. That's the kind of capacities we're talking about here. Okay. Now, how does I use this and convert into an NVMe kind of flash storage, right? Now, suppose I have some applications which really need very, very high performance flash. So here we are bringing in the VSP1 block 26Q, which is one of the fastest block storage system. And then we are like in a single box, you can put up to 3.2 petabytes and keep adding more and more trays in this one. So, and then you can keep scaling up. So this is completely NVMe drives sitting here, and you can scale up to 40 such nodes, providing 128 petabytes of NVMe all flash for an object. I mean, you can imagine that kind of performance that you will get on this one. And it's single cluster again. So it has ability of scale up and scale out. Simple architecture, because it's a Kubernetes platform. We don't really differentiate it as all flash or NL SAS. As long as the scaling out and scaling up, the architecture is same, right? What about having both of them in a single cluster? Okay, so some customers will come back and say, hey, you know what? I have some very mission critical applications running. I want very high performance. I want an NVMe based all flash storage, but I do also have some, backups and archival, which is more like long-term retention solutions, right? So typical these backups, archivals, I just wanted to only have an NL SAS based storage. So definitely, yes, let's say application 1, 2, 3 are they're not really resource hungry or power hungry. So you just basically put them into an S32 nodes and put them this storage here, archival and backups. Then I have this mission critical applications running here, which is for data lakes and AIs and analytics. You're going to be writing into the VSP1 block solution, which is an NVMe based storage. I mean, look at the smartness of this. I can actually put this and this behind the same compute and bring them into one single cluster, right? That's the beauty of it. So it's completely the application tier that you can define which applications will be writing to which storage. And here you're not compromising any of the performance requirements between. So this is called the smart way of using the multiple storage options for better performance and better pricing as well. Okay. I think in the market, we're the first one to do this one. So where we can bring in an LLSAS based storage and an all flash storage in the same cluster for different application requirements. All right. So here you can run things like S3 tables and other stuff and get a lot of value out of it. Here you can natively protect the data. You can ensure there's no ransomware attacks. All the data is secured. Immutability is on. A lot of variety, mix and match of S3 policies and controls you can create. I'd like to pause here, Jeet. You're the product leader. You designed the system. I just want to get your thoughts on this one and your ideas about supporting this kind of architecture.
I think as you mentioned, this was very important to us. It was important to say in the same cluster you can have mixed workloads, and you can scale them, separately. So if you have more data protection tiering needs, you can grow that storage. Or if you have AI analytics needs and you need fast access for your analytics stuff, you can have a VSP1 block on this one. So it was important for us to actually make that foundational in our design right from the very beginning.
Awesome. I think we are at the fag end of this session. Before I start the Q&A, quick summary, Jeet, from you. Why VSP1 object? Why Hitachi Vantara?
Right. So, you have to kind of come back and say, okay, we've been doing this for a long, long time, as you mentioned so really early on, 20 plus years. We have tens of exabytes of data under management, and we have thousands of customers who have deployed it. We have gotten awards for innovation very recently. S3 tables was one part of it. We have a lot of interesting stuff coming. It's in the pike. I cannot share it, but all the cool new stuff that you're thinking of we should be doing, it's becoming part of VSP1 object in the next releases. And we have gotten tremendous feedback on the amount of support, the kind of support that we provide. So we're innovating, and we are also making a design so that it meets all the needs that people have right now within Object Store.
Thank you so much, Jit. I think that's we're at the end of the presentation now. Let me take some questions here. By the way, a lot of questions are posted there, and I see many of my team members already answering them here. Let's spend about 10 minutes here just to take a few questions. I know there's also interesting contest towards the end. I want people to get some prizes as well. Okay, anything interesting here? The team already responded to it. Are there any built-in S3 data services that we can leverage? Are they out of the box and free? Okay, Jit, you want to take that question?
Yes. So, so I think the thing that we are kind of doing, as we said, we have this S3 table support that allows you to kind of do queries. The services that we're going to continue building integrated will be kind of like the PIS service. So we'll do more and more of these data governance, policy management, classification of data in different ways. That will add more and more of this coming forward.
Yeah. There is a question saying, is there a minimum system config requirement for VSP1 setup for, say, a small company?
Yes. So the answer is today, we don't have a very small setting. We have about a 8-node cluster in our control plane. But we are working towards building something much smaller in the upcoming releases. Again, let me put constraints here. So we are well aware that there are companies that would like all this functionality but need it smaller. So it is high on our priority list in the very next release we are doing.
I also want to mention that we also have the previous generation object platform from us, which is also available purely as a software defined. Just Deepti, if you want to have a simple object storage with some basic functionalities and purely as a small environment, we do have other object solutions, which is just running on a couple of VMs. You don't need to have a lot of appliances for that. So yes, we do have, but it's a slightly different solution, but it still has excellent capabilities. If you want the modern one, of course, this is the current architecture. And as Jeet said, we will be also coming with a smaller version of the new architecture as well very soon. So stay tuned. Why is object storage not ideal for transactional workloads? So if you want to run a mission critical application like a banking or a CRM, or no, they are not designed to work on object storage. I mean, yes. You all understand what is a block and how databases are designed. The database are designed more as, the tables. Basically, you need to have the rows and columns, and then how do you store it? You distribute that over blocks. Ideally, for running transactional workloads, very high performance workloads, block storage is the right thing to do. Okay. Because the data is already structured. The key thing is if the data is well structured, and the best platform to run is obviously block, okay? Because then it gives tremendous I/O performance for you. if you have a lot of objects which are unstructured and semi-structured, and you still want to get some value out of it, then obviously objects. So object storage is more designed for this unstructured and semi-structured data, and still try to get some value out of this by doing some kind of queries and metadata and all that. But if your data is very well structured, like a transactional workloads, then why would you want to keep it an object? Why don't you just go and use in block, because it's already structured now, right? Key differences between VSP and HCP. Okay, good question. HCP is our Hitachi content platform. I think you're aware of it, our object storage in the past, and it's still there. So we have VSP, which is a virtual storage platform. The VSP is basically our branding. Okay, we have our VSP1 block. We also have VSP1 object. So all our data platforms, including block, object, file, it's all coming under the VSP branding. Okay, so in a nutshell, we have file, object, and block all coming under the VSP branding. That's all you see. You saw the new platform called as VSP1 object. Why is object storage not ready for transaction load? That's already answered. Please share case study for genome sequencing, data analytics, and other mission critical applications for 4K video streaming. Excellent. So what we're doing for the genome sequencing, data analysis, and mission critical workloads is two ways. One, we need a very high performance parallel file system to process that data. So Hitachi also has another solution called Hitachi Content Software for File, which is a parallel file system where you're going to keep the hot data and you're going to run really mission critical, high fast AI ML workloads, right? And then you tier the data into an object for tiering purpose. Now you might ask a question, why can't I just use an object for running directly the genome sequencing? The answer is no, because genome sequencing needs super fast performance. I mean, you're talking about the speeds like 200 GB per second, 400 GB per second kind of speeds. You really need a parallel file system for that. Okay, but you don't want to keep a lot of data in parallel file system. It's going to be super expensive. So what we're doing is we're bringing the strength of parallel file system and object together in a single namespace. So you run your application, crunch the data in real time, like the genome sequencing. Once the data is processed, you can simply tier it to an object and keep the data for whatever period you want, 30 days, 90 days, 1 year, whatever, right? There's a very smart way of using those two storage platforms for very power-hungry applications like genome sequencing, okay? Sorry, Jeet, I will update you. With AI and cloud, who is actually accountable? Take a question. Let me take two more questions here. Any other interesting one? Okay, when integrating VSP1 object with Spark, Trineo, Presto, what best practices ensure optimal in-place analytics performance? Jeet, you want to take that?
Yes, I think we have a white paper that kind of talks about what setup and configuration. We have kind of performance numbers for it. Maybe we can, make sure that's available and accessible.
Sure. Okay. We'll come back to you, Dharmendra, on this one. Probably we'll respond back to you with a white paper on that one. It should be available in our corporate website as well.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Or we can probably send it one-on-one to you. Okay, any other interesting question you see in the chat window? We are under process to implement smart service where auto delivery of services on auto eligibility and creating data lakes too for maintaining large data. But the question is incomplete. I don't see the full question there. Okay. What is the footprint of this storage and what is the power requirement? I mean, that's part of our data specs. If you can go to our handouts, you will actually see there is specs that we have released as part of the handouts. You can see the data sheet and you will get some information on the storage and power requirements. If not, please do reach out to Hitachi account teams and they will get you on that one. Okay. All right. I think we're on top of the hour. Exactly. I just want to give a couple of minutes for Ella to do the contest. Jeet, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate great insights, and I hope it was very useful to our audience here. Excellent talking to you, Jeet. Back to you, Ella.
Hi, once again, and thank you so much to Suraj and Jeet for that very insightful discussion. And of course, for answering the questions. Should any of you have any questions or need additional information, don't hesitate to reach out to the contact details that you see on your screens. And by the way, a recording of today's session will be sent to your emails shortly. Once again, if you have any further questions or need additional information, don't forget to reach out to us on the contact details that you see on the screen. And now, I know that you're all excited because I did announce earlier that we will be having a raffle draw. So we're about to begin our raffle. Super easy to qualify. You just need to scan the QR code that is seen on the left side of your screen. Once again, all you need to do is to scan the QR code that's located on the left side of your screen. I'll give you 2 minutes to answer our survey question. Once again, 2 minutes starts now. And if you are done, do let me know. Comment down below done. And then we will proceed to calling out the lucky winners for today's raffle draw. Once again, 3 lucky winners will be getting 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher, and 1 lucky winner will be going home with an Apple iPad Air 13. So I'm so excited to announce who our lucky winners will be. I can see that people are already done. All right, so that was fast. You still have a minute and 25 seconds left. Once again, a minute and 25 seconds left. And I see a lot of people are saying done. Some are not yet done. Don't worry, because you have a minute and 15 seconds left. And you know, this is a really good way to start the holidays. The holidays are coming up. And if you get 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher, you know, you could use that to buy gifts for your loved ones, for your family, your friends, or your coworkers. And of course, what a way to start the holidays than to get an Apple iPad Air 13. So last 45 seconds for you all. I see a lot of people are already done answering the survey. So if you haven't yet, come on, quickly answer the survey as fast as you can, because we are down to the last 30 seconds left. All right, 30 seconds left to answer the survey. And we will be announcing the lucky winners for today's raffle draw. Okay, so last 20 seconds for all of you. I see a lot of people are already done. So let's just wait for those who haven't finished yet. Once again, please scan the QR code that's located on the lower left of your screen. In last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time is up, you guys. Time is up. And we are now collating all of the names that have sent in the survey questions. So who will it be? I'm very excited to announce the first winner of our 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher. Congratulations to Nico Angoro from BFI Finance. Congratulations to you, Nico. You will be getting a 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher. Next up, our second lucky winner who will be getting 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher is Fadli Mardhana from Bank Sinarmas. Fadli Mardana, congratulations to you for getting 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher. Now down to our last winner for the 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher. Who is it? It's Rachana Petkar from NRB. Once again, Rachana Petkar, congratulations to you. You will be getting 50 USD Grab or Amazon voucher. Congratulations to all of the winners for our first part of the raffle draw. Now, down to our lucky winner. Only one, you guys, all right? Only one will be going home with an Apple iPad Air 13. So who will it be? All right, let's see who the lucky winner for the iPad Air 13 is. Roland Villavueja from Phoenix Petroleum. Congratulations to you. You will be going home with an Apple iPad Air 13. Congratulations to Ronald Villavieja from Phoenix Petroleum. Once again, congratulations to all of our lucky winners for today. And our team will be reaching out to you to claim your prize. And congratulations to everyone for joining us. We hope you have a good day ahead. And once again, my name is Ella. Thank you for having us. Bye bye.
Can you ask your data anything? Unlock insights from mountains of raw object data with Hitachi Virtual Storage Platform One Object. It's all possible. This isn't your legacy object storage, not just a vault accumulating rot and dark data. This is VSP1 Object, the modern data platform that closes the gaps between data warehouses and data lakes, so you can summon the right data to your fingertips in seconds, from any point in time, from anywhere, without moving data. The first on-prem storage to natively support SQL queries with S3 tables. This means you can turn the chaos of data buckets into organized, cataloged data, using tools you already know to get data insights fast. Get frictionless access with on-prem control. With easy data governance, you can stop the data lake from turning into a swamp. Simplify analytics. Just point your BI apps to the data, and you're ready to go. No complex setups, no costly third-party tools, just fast BI and AI workflows. VSP1 transforms object storage from a vault into a value engine, driving insights to revenue faster. See how VSP1 supercharges analytics.
Are costly, outdated big data platforms impeding your speed of innovation? Innovating with data is now easier than ever. Hitachi Virtual Storage Platform One Object simplifies data management, whether it's structured, unstructured, in the cloud, or on-premises. It seamlessly integrates resources, optimizing big data workflows and processing for a hybrid cloud environment. Remove complexity by integrating immense data volumes into unified data lakes, making data management simple and powerful. Optimize AI workloads with peak performance through AI inferencing, RAG models, and automated training. Supercharge your storage with embedded ETL, metadata capabilities, and lightning-fast queries, ensuring your data is always accessible, clean, and ready for analysis. Experience unbreakable resilience with a platform that withstands multiple disruptions, guaranteeing 100% availability and ensuring 24/7 business continuity. Support large-scale data analytics and AI ML workloads with true data services, enabling your organization to quickly derive actionable insights. Streamline operations and reduce manual effort, easily scale to accommodate growing data volumes, and maximize resource utilization. Be unfazed by explosive data growth with the power of Hitachi VSP1 Object. You're ready to lead in the AI era.